Hello everyone! What I have in front of me here is an ASSA 700, and these locks here are pretty darn difficult to cut. It's something I've been struggling with for a long time, and I think I'm finally going to... I'm going to get myself a follower. I've been picking for about 7 years, and I have still not gotten the adequate equipment required for cutting locks. I'm almost a little bit ashamed to admit that, but it is the truth. I've been using these. This is just a ferrocerium rod. I use these for actually making a fire steel. Oh, yeah, that's flammable. But it is not really any good for picking locks. It is a fairly good diameter though. It's 12.7-ish millimeters, so I guess that's half an inch. But yeah, I'm going to make a follower today, and I thought I would let you all follow with me. I need to come up with some better jokes. Either way, let's go ahead and design a follower. Here I have the key for this lock. We can open the lock. Something I need to tell you all about is that the ASSA 700 has some holes in the plug for the anti-drill pins. And those holes are just big enough to allow the very tippity tip of the taper pins in. So when you go to gut it, don't just turn it a little bit. You need to turn it a little bit more. But don't turn it too much, because if you have it like that, then the pins will get stuck inside of there. So you need to have it sort of like that in order to get it out. And yeah, it's rather cumbersome. And a lot of beginners often, when they start picking more difficult locks, brick this on their first try. I bricked this on my first try because the pin will go down inside of that hole, and that is a terrible, terrible fate for the lock, and sometimes you will never get it out. By the way to get it out is to knock this casing with something heavy and hope that it'll jump out a little bit, just enough for you to be able to get it out, but luckily we don't have to deal with that today. Either way, this is the plug, and this is the lock. So, to make a follower, how long should we have it? I think this right here is a pretty good length. So maybe 130. And let's go ahead and write that down. So we have a follower, which is, I'm gonna make a little break view right here. So we have the total length at 130. The diameter should be the inside diameter of the ASSA 700, not the plug diameter, because we are going to do a little trick, which is 14 millimeters with a slight negative touch. So maybe we'll subtract 0.02 millimeters or something like that to make sure that it is a loose running fit. And at the end here, I want to be able to shield this so that the pin doesn't drop down into this little crevice, and that it doesn't drop down into here. And I wasn't really sure as to how exactly do that, but I noticed that the very end of this is slightly smaller. It's arbitrarily smaller than the rest of the diameter. It is 13.77 millimeters. So, assuming that this is made within tolerance on all of the other locks, which I'm sure it is because the ASSA locks are pretty darn good machined. If we make this 13.78-ish, maybe add 200s right there, and then we keep the OD. I think that we might actually be able to slip a little sleeve over that and prevent the issues that we've been having. The other, I guess, idea that we could do is to simply just make a flat in it, but that's a little bit boring, don't you think? That is plan B though. If the end of it is too weak and it just crumbles, that is going to be plan B. So right now this is plan A, and let's go to make a little bit of a radius there at the front. Or not actually. Let's make a small one, small radius, maybe like R 0.8. 130 long, 14 millimeters, 13. Yeah, that's pretty good. And if that doesn't work, we'll make a second one, which is the same idea, except that we have a rectangular piece here at the end, which is how wide? It's going to be 2.6 millimeters wide. We'll make it 2.55 then. And how deep should we have it? Probably have it about like 5 millimeters deep. So like that, 5, 14, and 130. Right, that's it for the design. I think we can now go ahead and go down to the shop and get started. All right, we're back. So here is the finished product. It turned out really nice, but the inside right there where I bored it wasn't really all that nice. And does it fit over? Ah, oh, yes it does. Amazing. So let's go ahead and get this thing using the new follower. See, can we push it through? Oops, losing the key pins there. Forgot to keep this side facing up. So there was a little bit of resistance pushing it through, but I think that is because of the key pins. So maybe I need to, yeah. Maybe this needs to be like 1/100th of a millimeter smaller. But as you can see right there, this is a pretty good fit on the ASSA 700. And yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. We can now remove the plug. It goes out just like that. Come on. Wow. Yeah, that wall is ridiculously thin. It is probably about 1/100th of a millimeter. Let's see here. I think we're measuring the curvature. Yeah, so 0.13-ish of a millimeter. That's a fairly thin wall. I think I may turn down this portion here a little bit, just a tiny notch, so that it can be a little bit looser. But all in all, I think this was a success. I'm mixing Norwegian and English. I think that was a success. I think this turned out pretty well, and we now have a follower for the ASSA 700. So I'm just going to reassemble it right here. I'm going to go like that and push it through. Make sure all the key pins are in. Yes, they are. And push it through. And there we go. Disconnect that. And it works just perfect. So there we have it. A follower for the ASSA 700. Thank you a lot for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.